So Substack just announced its partnership with Pangram, an artificial intelligence company who, get this, uses artificial intelligence to detect artificial intelligence on your writing. It's going to be putting buttons on our posts to allow readers to scan someone else's writing and receive a percentage, estimating how much of it a machine thinks was written by another machine. And somehow nobody involved seems to recognize what a spectacularly bad idea this in fact is. Like, do we think that maybe outsourcing human authenticity scores to AI is the last thing that we should maybe be outsourcing to AI? Because just think about the process that happens here, right? Because Pangram feeds your writing into its own AI that was trained on human writing and synthetic imitations of human writing that was produced by generative AI that itself was trained on from stolen human writing. There is something that is so profoundly anti-intellectual about measuring originality with tools that, by definition, cannot comprehend originality. Pangram acknowledges itself that these boundaries between these levels of AI assistance are more of an art than a science, and yet it markets resulting classifications with claims like 99.98% accuracy. But that kind of contradiction doesn't stop Pangram CEO Max Sparrow, the self-appointed AI slop janitor of the internet, from turning probabilistic scores into public accusations and then repackaging all of the fallout from that into marketing for the tool that started all of it in the first place. Last year, I went digging through Max Sparrow's janitorial closet, and I found the fundamental fallacy that is at the heart of Pangram. It was through an investigation of mine, called 91% Human, that I was able to find out how Pangram actually works. And I want to show you how it works because it's not as clear-cut as it makes it seem. The way it works is that it chops your writing into blocks of roughly 50 words, which is the smallest unit that the model claims that it can reliably evaluate at a time. And because it can't identify which sentences came from a human versus which ones came from a machine, it evaluates the entire block and assigns it a score between 0 and 1 based off of patterns it associates with AI. And then it does something that you would never accept from anything else claiming to be evidence. It draws a line at the 0.5 mark and it turns a spectrum of uncertainty into a binary verdict. Meaning that if a block scores 0.51, that it receives a stamp saying it's AI, receiving the same categorical label as a score of 0.99. So think about what this means at scale, right? Like on Substack. So if a 1,500 word post gets roughly broken into 30 blocks, let's say, then a single 50-word passage that crosses the threshold at 0.51 suddenly means that your entire post is about to get publicly labeled as being 3.3% AI generated. By placing the detection button at the top of an article, Substack is basically ensuring that the score reaches the reader before they have even had a chance to engage with a single word that you've written. What you're doing is installing a panic button above posts that is going to replace the engagement of ideas with suspicion, aesthetic policing, and endless arguments over scores that no one even knows how to interpret. And whenever the model gets it wrong, a real writer will carry the accusation. But according to Substack's CEO, they think that this feature is going to protect writers because, quote, when readers have to wonder if what they're reading is real, it undermines the trust in authorship and threatens the livelihoods of writers. Yeah, you know what I think actually threatens the livelihoods of writers, Chris? Is the public accusations that are built on AI scores reducing an entire body of work into a decontextualized percentage. That's what I think does it. But hey, don't take my word for it. Why don't you ask your buddy, Max Sparrow? He knows better than anybody about that, don't you, Max? Yeah, remember that investigation I mentioned earlier? Well, it began after I found that Max Sparrow had publicly posted a Pangram score claiming that 78% of a debut author's novel was AI generated. And the New York Times reported this number as part of a larger story that led to Hachette, the publishing house, pulling the novel from the shelves and terminating this author's contract effective immediately. And yet there was no other evidence that was made public that shows that Pangram's score was even accurate. So I went looking for Pangram's detailed report, only to find that Max Sparrow had not fed the actual manuscript into Pangram. No, instead he had scanned a bootleg copy that he had obtained through the illegal piracy site oceansofpdf.com. He fed that into Pangram and got that number. So you're telling me that a young woman's career was effectively derailed by a number that was generated from a stolen copy of her own work in a scandal supposedly concerned with the theft of creative labor. Max Sparrow, ladies and gentlemen, the slop janitor extraordinaire and Substack's newest loaded gun. I mean, Substack cannot possibly call itself the last home to independent journalism while handing every reader a button that is designed to turn scrutiny inward. You're essentially taking a space built for holding power accountable and turning it into a brawl, writer against writer, and every comment section mutating into its own purity tribunal. And that atmosphere is exactly what AI slop janitors like Max Sparrow need in order to keep himself paid. They need to keep institutions panicked, keep users underinformed, and keep everyone too rattled to trust their own judgment. Otherwise, his company doesn't need to exist. So Substack, if you want to platform Max Sparrow and hand his machine authority over everyone's work, fine, but it's not going to be mine. I've already downloaded all 102,000 of my subscribers, and I'm ready to walk. Okay, in fact, I'm ready to walk all the way over to Beehive if this kind of nonsense is going to keep up on your platform. I guess I'm just so fucking tired of getting caught in the crossfires of some tech bros manufactured crisis only to watch them build a predatory product to police it while calling the whole cycle innovation.